Hello, good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. All right, we've got a couple more people popping in, so we're just gonna hang tight for a few minutes, let some people get the chance to come in. If you have anything that you'd like to be coached around today, you are more than welcome to either put something into the chat or raise your hand, since I can see your faces now. Still getting used to this new format of like being able to see you. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. This is going to be a very short call if nobody wants to get coached.
I'll get coached if no one else. Ooh, I see
Okay,
people in
there
the
we go.
chat. Never mind.
I'm like all
Do
of a
what you
sudden now
wish.
now all of a sudden, Sarah, all it took was for you to be like, well, I guess. And now everyone. Okay, Ika, what specifically are you looking to get coached on today?
The thing for me getting coached on is I'm letting myself get hung up on this one coaching client, spending a lot of time trying to go and get his breakthrough and like tell myself a story that, either if I really help him get a breakthrough, I can work with anyone, or if I can't actually help him out, that it's somehow indicating that I'm a failure as a coach and not capable of actually doing effective coaching and not letting myself actually prospect and attract new clients.
Okay. Okay. Sarah, just out of curiosity, what would you have been coached on just since you've talked? So I see Kathleen's in here. I heard Eco's. Just out of curiosity, what was your
Um, Mine was just on like figuring out time management, like feeling like I am so scattered that I can't get everything done. And I'm starting to get just like, I'm sure I feel a lot like you, Isabella, with your wedding, and I don't even have a good enough excuse. Like, I'm just busy, and you at least have like light at the end of the tunnel.
kinda.
But I'm also down with Kathleen's here charging people to work, you know. So
Uh-huh. Great, great, great.
I,
Okay.
I can't chat. I can't chat because I'm driving, but I'm with Eco. I have a client that I'm really struggling with too. So
Okay, perfect. Okay. So for those of you that just popped in, because we haven't picked anybody yet, does anybody have anything they'd like to get coached on just because you're here and I'm still taking submissions? If not, then I'm gonna pick someone in to go ahead and get started. If anybody has anything they'd like to get coached on. Nope. Okay, cool. All right. So this is a tough one because like they both have to do with like clients. So are we gonna go the money route or are we gonna go like the time slash ability stuck on client route? Oh, you make this so hard on me. Okay, my intuition is telling me to pick eco because I think it'll serve the room. So eco, let's coach.
Okay. Thank you, Isabella. I
You're
trust your
welcome.
intuition.
I'm like, my intuition says this one because I think it'll help everybody, whether they know it or not. So, okay. So, what is the most important thing for us to talk about today?
Uh, Being able to go and separate out my coaching ability and skills from the results that a particular client gets.
Okay. So when you were explaining this, you had brought up like failure and incapable.
Yeah. In the past, when I would really undercharge and give away the coaching for free or practically for free, I noted that very little was implemented in their lives. And uh, I know the effectiveness of this work. I felt it um, in my own life and my own experience. I've seen it with other people, like with Kirk as an example. And it's this particular client who's never done any kind of coaching work before, and done like a little bit of traditional talk therapy. It's just been one of the most freaking frustrating ones. And I've poured a lot of extra time, energy, and effort into doing education and premise and texting outside of our breakthrough sessions. And it's, I feel like with this particular client that this is the first one that I've dealt with that I feel there are real significant stakes, because when he came to me, he was like, I know my solution. I just haven't had the courage to go and do it. And the solution was to commit suicide. And this is the internal conflict that he's looking to go and have me ultimately help him with in the context of how he's relating to his adult responsibilities being in VL2, part of him wanting to go to VL3, and his little side that just wants to play and have fun and wants to just have that ideal homely life with his mama and dada that he never got to go and have as a child.
Okay. So what would you like to have at the end of this session?
What I'd like to have at the end of this session is I'd say being at a 10 in certainty of knowing the transformative power of this particular coaching work, and of like the breakthrough series, and being able to stand in the value of that, and um, letting go of the burden of trying to go and prove the effectiveness by the results of a particular client.
Okay. And how will you know that you have that?
Great question. Let's see. I would say that when I think about my coaching client that I'm really challenged by,
Mhm.
that there is a sense of ease, there is relaxation and attachment to his particular results, and whether or not he chooses to continue in his breakthrough series, because he's said a few times that he wants to just quit, cancel, walk away. Um, and let's see, what would a certainty of the transformation? How would I know that I have that? Confidence isn't quite the right word for it.
What will you feel?
Good question. The words certainty and knowing come to mind. What is coming up for me is like there'll be it's like the quiet truth of the soul that's just like even keel statement, matter of fact, of like, yeah, this work is effective, this is transformative, and for those who want to actually engage in it instead of performatively playing at it for accolades and approval, will actually get genuine transformation from it.
Okay, great. So I feel like I want to give you a mixture of coaching and support. because
Okay.
I want to coach you on like believing in yourself as a coach, and I also want to remind you of some things that I think will be helpful when working with clients like this, because I promise this is not going to be the last time you work with somebody where you experience similar frustrations. Believe me, I've had a couple, and it's all good because it when you experience a client that kind of makes you want to put your head through a wall, that means you're at the stage of growth as a coach, because you're about to learn so many things as a coach to bring them forward with you. So just know that you are on the cusp of exponential growth. And what it sounds like you were saying was you are working harder at this breakthrough and the results of this breakthrough than the client is.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop it. You cannot help somebody who does not want to be helped at that level. That's my little coach to coach wisdom. You cannot work harder than your client does at getting their results. You can't want it more than them. Now,
Okay.
if it feels like you're just working hard and they might just be stuck or something, that's a little different. But if if the client has I don't necessarily want to use the word checked out, but like if they are not putting in the effort that you know they could be, and you are working your booty off to get them to the other side, they are not an open client.
Yeah. And like one of the things that I've heard repeatedly from him is like, no choice, no choice, no choice, no choice. And it's like, I have been working to go and get him to realize that he is a sovereign being. He does have choice. And I've, uh,
So where do you feel like you have no choice in your life, Eco?
thank you. Perception and
I mean,
projection.
you saw it coming,
Right.
but
Of course. Yeah. Um, I'm intrigued that I have embarrassment and shame coming up for me as feelings even before I've cognitively processed where I'm feeling I'm not a choice. Okay. Um, First thing that comes up for me where I'm not a choice is in my living in my living situation, and have been working at that. And I've been waiting on others to go and pick me. I've been waiting to go and get approval and looking to be like, yes, you're good enough, you're worthy to actually move in and be here. And even with the one bedroom, one bathroom place that I've been told I've been approved for is still not ready yet. Because it's like a brand new construction, and they said they're doing staggering move-ins that should be starting later this month, and it's um yeah, it's like a yes is coming and not yet. I feel challenged in allowing myself to have the experience and be at the vibrational level of I already have this and I'm aligning myself with it to let it flow to me.
What's your
And
definition of choice?
choice is having options and having the ability to pick between the options, discerning the ability to determine what is actually best for oneself.
So, recognizing that the client you're working with has one thing coming up over and 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 over. And it's reflecting a place in your life where you feel like you have no choice, right? It's been left up to somebody else. What would you say to your client if they were in this situation?
Good question. I would say that there are options that you have. There are choices that you've actually made and opportunities you turned down because you actually chose to stand in your value and say, this situation doesn't actually work for me for what I truly want. And that when you're able and willing to stand in your no and say, this is what I need to have it workable for what I actually want and desire. That is when you're able to come into better alignment with attracting what you do truly want for you rather than just taking whatever it is just so you have something rather than nothing.
So, after saying that, what would you ask your client?
What is it that you truly want? , , , , are you willing to actually say no to everything that isn't what you actually want? And what I actually want is to have my own sovereign place where I live by myself at this period in time. This one bedroom, one bathroom place that is being finished is that, and I've been told that they've set an apartment aside. The rent is at a rate that I feel that I can afford and is a good deal for this area. So just get to relax on that, trust, and know that it's coming, and see where I can actually get myself into the energetic alignment with the belief and trust that it is there and in process, and I don't have to try to force or make anything happen. I just get to be and allow it to come.
How do you know when you're accepted? Not necessarily for the apartment, but just like accepted in general.
I noticed myself just really cringe with that question. There have been so many times in my life before I thought there was acceptance, and then I learned later there actually wasn't. And
Mhm. Which is, I know what you're afraid of with the apartment. That's why you keep saying, I've been told, I've been told, I've been promised. So I know that there's something there about you don't actually believe it.
thank you for calling that out. And yeah, yeah.
So how do you know that you're accepted?
The thing that comes to mind is I don't. I don't currently trust myself to have accurate enough discernment to actually have that visceral knowing of, yes, I'm actually accepted in a way that is actually going to last.
What does that make you feel?
Sad. Um, I feel the tears running down my face as I talk about that. And I get that the perception is projection, inner is the outer, and me being not in communication with my inner world and inner aspects, not actually spending time with them either, just trying to keep myself busy in the outside practical world, not showing and spending the time to be in acceptance, love, and uh, communication, companionship with my internal world.
What is your definition of control?
That's interesting. Manipulation is one of the first words that come to mind. Domineering is the next one. Um, Pushy, aggressive. The phrase from the Gray's value questionnaire of like, I don't have PTSD, I give PTSD. Detrimental is the next one coming up for me. Mind is really holding negative context around control, which,
Mhm.
uh, yeah,
So how if at all is control connected to choice for you?
is control connected to choice. Yeah. So how's it those who are in control are the ones with the ability to actually choose.
Mm-hmm.
And not only choose for themselves, but also choose for the others, the ones they're controlling and manipulating. Um,
So in your living situation, you have no choice because you have no control. There's nothing for you to manipulate. There's nothing for you to domineer or be pushy about or be that you there is nothing that you can do. So you feel like you have no choice because it's
yeah,
up to
I think
somebody
so.
else. Because it's
Right.
up to somebody else to accept you, to think that you are good enough and that you're worthy enough to be there. And you don't trust that. You see how they're all jumbled up together?
Yeah, I do. You know, especially with the couple months that went by of like, hey, we need this information from you, this information, you know, your income verification, and then you have a tentative approval, but then we need to have compliance give you final approval. And I guess in theory, I've been given that final approval and told that there is an apartment that is set aside and
So with the client that you're working with,
hmm,
where do you notice that their challenge or their problem is connected and intertwined with other problems? You don't have to be specific. I just can you see where that's happening?
yeah, yeah, I do. And the whole thing of growth arc that I see for him, um, and where I see is important for him is
No, 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 no. Go back. Do you
all
see
right.
it? Do you see that it's intertwined?
Yeah, I see the jumble of intertwined mess. Yeah,
Okay. What are you going to do about it?
but his intertwined mess.
Uh-huh.
place I've come to with him with that is pointing out where he does have choice, celebrating when he does make a choice, and being like, "Yep, you're making a choice. Great job."
So, what are you afraid of if you push deeper?
I'm afraid if I push deeper, that he's just going to call it quits, um, refuse to go forward, and just slide back into the comfortable known of just being solely in a VL2 place of no choice, and just have to do whatever it is that he's told by those he sees in authority figures, and ultimately just gets to a place of I can't live like this anymore and
Okay.
kills himself.
What did he pay you for?
He paid me for a relationship breakthrough
To get what at the end?
to get what at the end is four goals: one, reduce anxiety; two, be comfortable in approaching the friends that he does know without hesitation; three, to be in a healthy relationship uh, with his 2-year-old inner little; and four, having inner peace so he's no longer in war and conflict with himself.
Can you do that without pushing him?
Ugh.
You're right. The answer is no.
No, no.
So you're actually doing him a disservice by not going deeper because of your own fear that you won't be accepted if you keep pushing.
So, what does pushing look like in this context without going into just a repeating of his old patterns of do what I say because I say it, and being domineering like everyone he's known in his life?
You just have to call out his behavior. So you have to go in there, or you not have to. You get to go in there, and all my activate people are laughing because we just did language this last weekend. You get to go in there and reflect back how he is the reason he doesn't have the things he wants, how he is holding himself back, how like exactly what I'm doing with you here, where I'm like, okay, great, great, great. Well, that's because of you. That's because of your fear of not being accepted, right? You're going to call out the behavior. Get spicy. That's what I mean by pushing deeper. Don't just settle at no choice.
Okay.
Get spicy. Push him up against his boundaries. His neurological boundaries.
Yeah, for clarification.
Yeah, yeah, neurological boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't let up.
And he's right on that verge because in some of the voicemails he sent to me recently, he did go and shut off to me. It's like, I do have choice. I am making choices, and and I'm making choices all the time. It's like, hey, look at you recognizing that you have
So then
choice.
reflect back to him. Where are you choosing to not have choice?
Hmm.
Where are you choosing to be the victim in this situation? That's what I mean by pushing deeper. Call out what's keeping him stuck.
Right. And just recently, I actually sent him the drama triangle that has the victim, perpetrator, savior thing, and instructed him to be like, go through this checklist and see which one of these categories you fall in.
I'm gonna probably tell you it's gonna be victim.
Well, I'm actually certain that his victim. I need him to realize that.
Yes, yes, yes.
I
I'm like,
can't just
I'm going
tell
to
him
tell
that.
you. Yeah.
I mean, I know that I can tell him he's been in victim mode, but me telling him isn't going to help him. It's him realizing it for himself and him admitting it out loud is what's going to help him.
So, what else has your fear of not being accepted stopped you from doing in working with this client?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is me actually more standing in my own value of that and willing to accept like only $150 a month for this breakthrough, which he's only paid twice so far on, and it's I have no real guarantee that he'll continue to keep paying on it, like how the last breakthrough client that I had last year uh only made a couple of payments and then dropped off out of that. Second thing
Look, I
I've
knew we were going to end up back at money at some point. See,
of course,
that's why my intuition said this one instead of the other one.
and also tied in with money is where I've been reluctant, not only with him but with my other clients, to actually send a formal contract agreement that's being like, hey, these are the actual terms, the expectations, and the payment structure. Sign it and understand that it's a binding agreement. Yeah, and the reluctance from fear that it is going to be rejected, pushed away, and walked away from, and not accepted.
So, are you ready for your come to Jesus, Eco?
Yes.
The longer you allow this client to walk all over you like a freaking doormat, the longer you are going to never allow yourself to have any value, which means nobody will ever see that you have value. Because how can somebody else see something that you don't even see in yourself? When I say that, what comes up for you?
Few things. Um, One, I agree with you. I do need to see and believe and stand in my own value more. Two, I know that I got into doing personal growth work 22 years ago because someone else was able to see something of value and worth in me that I wasn't able at that point to see for myself. And I'm one to step out of the story that I need other people to see more of what I'm capable of than what I see for me, because that just keeps me
You're
in
waiting,
that
that keeps you
victim
waiting on
role, waiting for
acceptance.
their approval and them seeing my worth in instead of me just saying, I'm worth this.
Mm-hmm. So what do you deserve to take out of all of this?
I find it interesting that I'm resistant to actually saying anything out loud on that. What do I deserve to take? I deserve to take out of this that I have value and I have high value that I provide to others through both my skill sets and by me just being. I deserve to take from this that there's zero need for me to actually prove to someone else that I do have that value, that my standing in that value is enough. And either they will see it or they don't. And I don't have to try to convince them that the value is there. I just get to stand in the belief and the knowledge that the value is there because I choose to see my value, regardless of anyone else.
So now I want to go back to what you said you wanted to have at the end of this coaching session, which was to have certainty and knowing of the transformative power of the breakthrough work and stand in that and stop trying to prove it. Bullshit. You already know that. You needed to know that you have value and that you can stand in that value and that you can give that value and not have to prove it anymore.
Yes.
Because the work is the work.
Yeah.
So now with this client, what are you going to go do differently now that you weren't able to do before? I highly suggest one of those things be asking for another payment before you continue work with them. Please. Because you deserve to be paid.
Thank you.
What else?
So I will say that I will go and see about setting up an actual automatic recurring payment structure rather than just the open invoice. And actually write out and send the contract agreement to actually sign, including a cancellation clause that should he choose to go and cancel the breakthrough series midway, that he'll still owe $150 and per hour for the number of hours gone in the breakthrough so far.
And what'll be different in your approach to coaching him?
In my approach to coaching him, I'm going to I feel the edge of that. Okay. In my approach to coaching him, I'm going to call him out on the places where I perceive that he is choosing to acquiesce his choice and be in that victim role of no choice.
And now, where do you see the trajectory of the breakthrough going when you do that? All of those things, not just in the coaching, but like the payment, the contract, the calling him out.
Either he's going to walk away and quit completely, or he's going to actually go and get everything he wants from breakthrough by choosing to go through that.
And how much of that is in your control?
I don't have control whether or not he chooses to walk away or not.
And what do you have?
I do have the value of this work and knowing that when they do the work, they get the transformation. And that can stand in that value.
And you do also have choice. You have choice in how you show up. That you have choice in you giving him your best, regardless of what he does. And that's where you get to
Yes.
know that you have value to show up for your clients.
Yes, I do get to choose to show up with my best for my clients.
Yep. So is there anything else that you need to talk about today in order to feel whole and complete on this?
Not on this, no.
Perfect. Well, thanks for letting us dig around in your brain a little bit today, Ego.
You're welcome. Thank you for being willing to go there and dig around in my brain, Isabella.
Of course, no problem. I do want to open this up for questions because I did a little bit of some I did some interesting things because I felt that showing was better than telling in this instance. So like right, because one of the issues at the beginning was like worried that Ego wasn't like can I do the coaching? Am I good at this? Blah blah blah. Am I a good coach? Am I all these things? Should I even keep doing this? So that's why I kept referencing back to having him go and put himself in his client back in like the coach hat of like, well, what would you ask your client? Well, what would you do here? To show that it has absolutely nothing to do with Eco's ability to coach. It has everything to do with Eco's unconscious mind was sabotaging him. So that's like I felt showing that was better than telling and being like, Eco, you're fine. It would have been like, instead of being okay, well, now give me the questions. What would you ask? What would you do here? What would you say? How would you handle this? All of these things. Like I put Eco back in the shoes of the coach to his client. So then, and then all of them, I never said that was a bad question. I never said I wouldn't ask that. I never said any of those things. I just said, cool. And then I reflected back where his own limiting thoughts, his own limiting decisions and negative emotions were holding him back. Yeah, it had to be recognized, not told, which is also what he was working on with his client. I was like essentially coaching them both simultaneously. And so look, for all of my newly activate friends who are going to part 2 next month, I do not expect you to be able to do that one right off the bat. And
it's just definitely advanced coaching techniques here.
Yes, but it was definitely a cool thing to see. And I didn't know I was going to do it until I was doing it. I was like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. Thanks, brain. Yeah, are there any questions on anything that I did do, regardless of it being advanced or not? I do want to see if anybody has questions on questions I asked or where I got information or anything like that. No, totally fine. I am really excited. I see a lot of new faces on here, so I'm so glad that you're here. If you've never been here before, this was a hell of a call to start with. I love it. Katie.
Mine is less a question, but
Cool.
actually to thank Eco because it was very interesting to watch you when you realized your resistance to things. That was a good thing for me to see when you actually how you did it. You were very well of your resistances, but to see what you looked like right before you spoke about being aware that there was a resistance there. So to help me recognize like what it physically looked like or potentially could physically look like when someone has a resistance versus they're just giving the answer they think I want to hear.
Mhm.
So that was, thank you.
I love that. Look at you using your sensory acuity, Katie. I love it. I love it. Okay, Kathleen asks, did I have any doubts that Eco is a good coach? No, I didn't. One, because Eco shows up to Breakthrough Mentorship every week and asks me questions every week. And I know, like, I have heard all of the things that this dang client has been putting poor Eco through. So no, I had no doubt that I didn't think it was a skill issue. Because if it's a skill issue, it's more obvious. Eco wouldn't have gotten his client to where he's gotten his client if it was a skill issue. So when like at the beginning when he brought up that no choice is the thing that kept coming up for the client, he wasn't quite sure where to go with that. I'm like, well, there's your direct projection, right? There's what we need to go look at. I related it back into Eco's own personal life outside of the client, which then helped us find kind of like the pattern. And then I brought it back. So like I flipped. I would coach a little bit of Eco, and then I would have Eco in turn kind of coach the client. And then I would have, and then I'd coach Eco, and then Eco would coach the client. So I flipped it back and forth. One, because I knew there was lots of projections, right? Just from how it was described at the beginning. But also I wanted to show Eco that it wasn't his skill, because I know that's what he was doubting, but that's not. So yeah. All right.
So
Well.
we are attracting the clients. We need to heal ourselves.
Oh yeah. And the ones that have you banging your head against the wall are the ones where your things are the most unconscious.
Mm.
I remember my very first client that was like that for me. And it was odd because I had coached her before and I never had any issue. And then I was doing a breakthrough with her and I just about was like, am I not cut out for this? Should I never coach anybody ever again? I had that same moment, Eco, so it's totally normal. And that's also how I knew it was less of a skill thing, more of a projection thing, because I've been through it. I know that, oh damn, like it was such an unconscious thing for me, and it helped up level my skills as a coach because I learned how to handle if I was being met with unconscious projections for myself. I learned how to help myself through that and to help my client get to the other side. So they're definitely going to be your biggest learning clients, because they're going to be the ones that are the most unconsciously like the problems you've got going on. And sometimes you don't realize it until you are like banging your head against it. You're like, I don't know how to help this person. That's why we have breakthrough mentorship. You come and you give me your notes and you get somebody else's perspective who's not in your jar.
And I will be
This
coming
is
to Breakthrough
exactly,
membership as well for that.
yes, yes, and that is exactly why coaches need coaches, because we've got our own stuff that we are unconscious of, and that no matter how much we would like to see it for ourselves, we just can't. I had to come and say, help. And I had to like give my notes and I had to give all my things. And I said, help. I need help. And I got help. I got some support, somebody who wasn't in my jar. And now it's great. All right. Well, this is the last hot seat that I am doing this month because I am getting married in 9 days. So not next week. There will not be a hot seat next week because everybody will be at my wedding. Thank you. The week after, I believe that's like the 20 something, if the 23rd, there will be a hot seat, I believe. Yes, there will be a hot seat. Trina will be doing the hot seat. She is amazing. She's wonderful and awesome. So please come to that one. And I will see you all in July. So goodbye, everybody. I will see you all later.
Good
Mwah.
luck with everything.
Thank you. It's going to be so amazing and wonderful, and I can't wait.
Have an amazing wedding,
Thank
Isabella.
you. Bye,
Enjoy it.
everybody.
Bye.